Hey y'all, I hope this video finds you well. I want to come to you today to show you how to make an infinity scarf, but just a few quick disclaimers on the front end. My neighbor is getting a roof, so you may hear some banging in the background. I didn't want to delay putting this video out any longer, and you know how the saying goes, the show must go on. So we're going to be using the Red Heart Roll With It tweed yarn, and I used this yarn in a previous tutorial on how to create a shawl. Now if you haven't checked out the tutorial, I'll be sure to leave a link in the description box or also somewhere in this video so you can check that out. But I love this yarn, you all. It's really soft, really, I don't know, it's just lightweight, and I love the way it self-stripes. So this is what we're going to use, and I'm thinking I bought a little bit too much of this yarn, so I may give one away. I'm not sure, but we'll see. So anyway, this is what we're going to be using. Let's go ahead and get started. I used a 7mm crochet hook, and we're going to start by making ourselves a slip knot. Okay, so just follow along with me on the screen on how to create a slip knot. And there are tons of ways of doing it, you all. So if you don't catch on here, you can either slow this video down or go check out some other videos on how to do a slip knot. Those are they vary so much, you all. Once you have your slip knot, of course, place that on your crochet hook and give it a little tug. And we're going to start by making ourselves a foundation chain. Now, I did make some assumptions that you know how to make one, but if you don't know how, you can follow along here on the screen, or I'll also link a video into this video somewhere where I go a little bit slower, okay? So you're going to do a foundation chain, just yarning over it and pulling through. Yarning over, pulling through, and you'll be very comfortable with doing this because we're going to do this. I think I did mine 110 times, and if you want to make a super long infinity scarf that you're able to loop around, you're going to want to make your foundation chain double that, so probably like 180. Okay, so once you have your foundation chain with infinity scarves, you have some options. You can combine the ends, so basically putting the last stitch onto the crochet hook and making a gigantic circle. I find if you're a beginner crocheter, that's a little bit more confusing. So what we're going to do is we're going to work in rows. So that very first stitch in the row, you're going to do single crochet stitch. So just in that first stitch, you're going to create a single crochet stitch, and you're going to do that all the way down the row. So I hope you can see that here. Just insert your crochet hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, I'll show you. Insert your crochet hook, just like that, pull through your loop, yarn over, and pull through again. You're going to continue doing single crochet stitches all the way down the foundation chain. So if you did a foundation chain of 110, you're going to have 110 single crochet stitches, okay? So that's what you're going to do all the way across. All right, and this is what it should look like. So this is a very small scale. You want to practice. This is a type of project that this will allow you to get used to working with yarn and getting your tension correctly. So just keep practicing your tension and getting more comfortable using your crochet hook. When you get to the very end of your foundation chain, like I said before, you should have the same number of stitches that you had in your foundation, your initial foundation chain. Then you're going to do a chain of 3. So chain 3, that's going to count as your first double crochet stitch, and you're going to turn your work. Okay, so we did a row of single crochet stitches. Now we're going to do double crochet stitches, but we're going to do them in the back loop only. And again, if you don't know how to do a double crochet stitch, I will link the information on how to do that in the description box down below. Okay, so if you turn your work to where you're looking at the top, you should see like 2 loops, a front and a back. You're going to be working in that back loop, and you kind of see it there on the screen there. That is where you're going to do a double crochet stitch. So that's just inserting your crochet hook, pulling through the first 2, yarning over, and then pulling through the bottom 2. Okay, again, I'm going to go slow again. To the side, you'll see a V stitch, you'll see a front and a back loop. Into the back loop only, that is where you're going to be doing your double crochet stitch. So it's a lot easier once you're probably working with your own project to see it, but just kind of turn it to the side a little bit, and that gives you a little bit better vantage view where you can see where the back loop is. Okay, and I'll show you that a few more times in slow motion, because honestly, that's the the majority of the project is just working a double crochet stitch into the back loop only. And what this is doing is it's creating a nice little ridge, so almost like a raised stitch, and that's what we want to kind of give the scarf some texture and make it look a little bit more advanced. If you're a beginner, it makes it look like you really know what you got going on, like what you're doing. So just continue working, and I'm just trying to show it to you a few times because I think people can kind of get lost a little bit. So in the back loop only, doing your double crochet stitches, okay? So just continue working that. And you'll get good at this because we're going to do this pretty much, like I said, the entire scarf. So if you find that your rows aren't even, then you'll want to count your stitches as you go along, at least every so often, just to make sure that you're not dropping a stitch somewhere or picking up a stitch. And that means you're skipping a stitch or you're putting two stitches in the same space. Okay. All right, so at this point you can pause the video and keep working until you get closer to the end, and then I'll meet you back and show you how we transition to the third row. See that ridge there? So it's working up. So keep on working. All right, so if you've kept on working, you should have a project that's starting to look like this. Now this is your first row being a single crochet row, and your second row being your double crochet stitches in your back loop only. Okay, I'm going to do a few more of them on the camera until we can get to the very end, and then I'm going to show you how we move into row 3. And I find as a beginner, the first row is probably the most difficult. So once you get past your first row, then everything else is usually pretty easy sailing. So here we are at the end of the row. This is what it should be looking like. Very pretty. Okay. Then you're going to chain 3, just like we did before. Turn our work. This means flip the work over so you're working in the same direction. And again, in the back loop. So that first chain of 3 is going to count as your first double crochet stitch. So in the next stitch over, right there, you're going to do first, you're going to do your double crochet stitch in the back loop only. All right. So of course I'm not going to stay on camera, you all, to show you how to do all of the rows, but you'll do this row and then the subsequent, I think we did a total of 11 rows. So you've already done 2, so you'll do an additional 9 rows until you get to the desired thickness or the desired width. So if you want yours a little bit thicker, a little bit more chunkier, then you'll just keep working. But I did a total of 11 rows of double crochet stitches. So just keep working, and I'll check back in. So go ahead and pause the video if you want to. I'll check back in to show you what it looks like when I've got a few more rows done, and then I'll check back in again to show you how we finish it off. So that's what it looks like. All right, and here it is with me having completed, I think this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like 6 rows is completed there. Very pretty. So that was just a project progress check. Just keep working, doing the same thing. Okay. Once you get to your 11th row, you're going to continue doing what you've always been doing, and I'm going to show you how we're going to kind of get to the last row. All right. Very last stitch there. Sometimes the last stitch can be a little bit tricky, but just work with it. Make the yarn work with you, you know? All right, so then we're going to chain 1. Instead of chaining through, we're going to chain 1, turn your work, and now you're just going to do a row of single crochet stitches. Now, remember we started with a row of single crochet stitches, so we're going to end with a row of single crochet stitches, and you're just going straight through the stitch. There's no more working in the back loop only. Okay? So just straight through the V, right through the hole, making a row of single crochet stitches. Okay, and once you have that finished up, just keep working. I'm going to show you how we put everything together, so just keep on working. And I love the way this colorway introduces the yellow. It's just a pretty colorway, guys. I just like this a lot. I think I want to make a hat with this. I think I'm going to make, because I didn't use the whole skein, right? So I think what I'm going to do is try to make a hat with it. Okay, moving on. So we finished our last row. We're going to just fold our infinity scarf in half where our two ends meet, and we're going to sew. Okay, so the way I determine how much yarn I use, I just kind of measure back and forth, get about 4 or 5 times the width of the infinity scarf, so I have enough yarn to sew. So that's why I have a really long tail. I finish off the project. All right, again, folding the project in half, and it should be even, you all. It shouldn't be, it might be, a little wonky, but it shouldn't, it should be even, okay? Go ahead and get your yarn needle, and you're going to join your working, what do I want to call this? You're going to join your two sides together. There has to be a more technical word for that. You can see on the screen what I'm doing, though. I know there's a better term for it, but it just slips my mind. I can't believe it. I'm having a brain malfunction. Okay, so once you have it sewn, I went up and down twice. I'm not a great sewer yet. I'm going to claim that I'm going to get better. And this is the part that's going to be around your neck and the back, so you won't see that anyway. But that's kind of what it looks like. You're probably a much better sewer than I am. And also, guys, if you don't like to sew, then again, you could always join the yarn in the beginning and then work in rounds. Okay, so here I'm just showing you what it looks like. This one we wouldn't put on like this, but if you made it a little bit longer, you could twist it and have, multiple loops and all of that. So cut off all of your ends, weave them in, and that is pretty much it. Perfect scarf for the upcoming fall and winter. Easy project, easy Christmas gift. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section down below. I'm going to try to make a hat. Once I make the hat, if I have leftover yarn, like if I have another skein, I'm definitely going to do a giveaway so someone can win this, because I love this yarn. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. Have any questions, please make sure you leave them in the comment section down below. Bye.